go to the Pietermaritzburg High Court, where we have Thulasizwe Simelane and Siphamandla Goge, who are standing by for us. Thulas and Sipa, we hear that the former president needs extensive emergency medical procedures.
Yeah, that's what we're hearing. Let's first give credit to the reporting of Karen Mon, the journalist Karen Mon, on that particular story, citing papers that she's had sight of, saying that according to those papers, the SANDF, one of the SANDF doctors says that former President Jacob Zuma's life is at, quote, significant risk and may take up to 6 months for them to be able to treat him. And that, to be very clear, is credit to the reporting of the senior journalist Karen Mon. What has come out of court, though, is that at this particular point, the medical report that tells us, or tells the court, the details of the condition of health of former President Jacob Zuma, that is outstanding at the moment. And basically the undertaking coming out of today's brief sitting, which was virtual, is that that will be finalized by the 20th of this month, paving the way, though, Aneka, and setting up the stage, from what I can see, for what potentially, underlined potentially, could become, something of contested terrain between the defense and the state. You already heard there Wim Trengove, on behalf of the NPA, signaling and giving a signpost that there is potential, again, underlined potential, that they would want to have a second opinion, as it were, to have a medical official or practitioner of their own choosing, there being the NPA, the state. In addition to that medical report, they may want to brief a medical officer to examine Mr. Zuma on behalf of the state, and for that medical official to then be available, if needed, to give evidence. And indeed, it's part of what Judge Piet Koen ordered, that should happen, that the door for that is opened should the state decide to go in that route. Let me bring in Siphamandla Goge into this conversation. Siphamandla, we're getting a bit of a glimpse into what is happening around the issues of health of former President Jacob Zuma. I think by now it's becoming clear that the line that says this was a routine, checkup, nothing major, nothing to worry about, well, we're starting to see that that is being challenged by the facts as they play out in court.
Indeed, and also the fact that the former president has been in hospital for about 4 days now, that tells you that there could be something there, and the events and the facts that have been presented here today, you are hearing that it could take months for the former president to be able to be treated, and you are hearing that on the side of the state, it appears as if going forward there will be a lot of mistrust between the state and the defense here. The state is adamant that, well, for now we don't know what Mr. Zuma suffers from, and then we'll have his lawyers there, the defense team coming up saying, but hang on, that is a doctor-patient confidentiality matter. Why do you want to know what he suffers from? And also the fact that the state pushed so hard to have a second opinion, which was granted, by the way, when Judge Piet Koen said the deadline to submit that medical report will be the 20th of August, and thereafter the state can basically have another team, another medical practitioner who will examine Mr. Zuma. It tells you that that point will be highly contested, but most importantly, we are far away from getting this trial started, Thulas.
We are we not, Siphamandla? It's been a stop-start affair since the prosecution was reinstituted in 2018. There have been ebbs and flows. And in fact, that's the one consistency of this matter, that it's inconsistent.
Back and forth.
You just never know what will happen. So right now, we're looking at the 9th and the 10th of September. But we don't know exactly what will happen. It could either be these issues to do with his medical condition, or if we are lucky, it could be the day when we hear finally this argument around the attempt to have the prosecutor Billy Downer removed.
Indeed, and that holding date of the 9th and 10th of September really told us I wouldn't be so hopeful. I mean, I don't want to put my head on the block here, but I can tell you that we are likely to come back here and have another postponement again. But remember, you are dealing with a 79-year-old whose health status has been out in the public in terms of, he has even gone abroad to seek medical attention. So the issue of former President Jacob Zuma's health will continue to plague this trial. And also, constitutionally, he has a right to seek that medical help. But then again, at the same time, you will have the state which is of the view that, well, these delays are not necessarily helpful. But what do you do in a situation where the accused person who still has constitutional rights is unwell? So we will be back here on the 9th and 10th. If we are lucky, like you have already said, that, well, we could see some progress in this matter, but I'm not very hopeful.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Anika, so that's how it's looking. And, you start hearing phrases such as not fit to stand trial. Those were the phrases that came out of Advocate Wim Trengow's submissions, while in agreement in as far as the postponement for today is concerned, and also what needs to happen, the various milestones going forward. He's already using words that contemplate that if the medical report says Mr. Zuma is not fit to stand trial, but then there's a brief postponement and there's no dispute about that, we get a brief postponement on the 9th or the 10th of September. But if the report says he's not fit to stand trial and the prosecution doesn't agree with the report, we could be entering the realm of a trial within a trial, where the condition of health of Mr. Zuma is put to the test with witnesses being called, witnesses being medical experts, possibly the team that's attending to him now, but also very possibly a doctor of the NPA's choosing who would then testify and also be cross-examined. And we're still a long way then from having this matter really get underway in earnest with the calling of the first witness.
That's right, Tulisizwe. I'm putting my money on this case only resuming in a proper way at the beginning of next year, because, as you say, we will have a medical report to deal with, and then only possibly the recusal of lead counsel for the prosecution, Billy Downham. We'll be